If you have a child, know children, or have been a child, then you know that every child is different. Students and families have a variety of aspirations and needs. So of course, it makes sense that schools should reflect that diversity in every way. And yet, in some places, we don't see the diversity of school models we'd hope for. Today, we'll talk about this from the perspective of charter school authorizing and specifically the policy barriers faced by charter schools and authorizers. A mix of different types of public schools ensures that every child can attend a school that meets their needs. And there's good news. NACSA's research suggests that charter school authorizers are indeed approving a diversity of charter school models. A closer look, however, reveals a dramatic range in approval rates from model to model, and the frequency of certain models also varies greatly from state to state. So even with a diversity of educational models in the charter space, parents and students need and want more diverse quality options. The research also reveals that authorizers have a significant impact on shaping educational opportunities. How do we know this? The schools ultimately getting approved to open do not reflect the full variety of those first proposed in applications. This is good news if authorizers are screening out bad proposals. However, it could signal a real problem if authorizers are missing opportunities to approve and open excellent schools that respond to student and family aspirations and needs. NACSA's Innovative and Diverse Charter Models Addressing Policy Challenges project gathered insights from authorizers and partners about model diversity in the charter sector. Our goals were to 1, understand why unique models get approved or rejected, and 2, to explore potential solutions to related policy challenges. NACSA interviewed authorizers and partners and heard about opportunities and challenges in the areas of risk aversion, inflexible accountability systems and performance frameworks, regulation, funding, and support for stakeholders. Let's explore each of these challenges and our recommended solutions. Authorizers and partners cited risk aversion as a leading factor in why more innovative models are not approved. Interviewees had different ideas on why authorizers might be risk averse, but generally, the reasons fell into 2 categories: a lack of evidence that a certain model could be successful, and authorizers wanting to avoid failure or being fearful of legal challenges. Let's talk about evidence. Charter school applicants are expected to demonstrate their potential for success through the application process. However, when a model is totally unique or new in its approach to schooling and educating students, it can be difficult to translate the idea in a way that allows authorizers and families to fully grasp the school's potential and likely impact. For example, one authorizer described an applicant who applied to open a forest school, a play-based model located fully outdoors. Forest schools began in Scandinavia, and the model has spread throughout the U.S. However, the model is more common in independent and homeschool settings, and a charter for a forest school had not been previously approved in the authorizer's state. Given the newness of the model, and the fact that the operator couldn't point to a previous charter success in their context, the authorizer was understandably hesitant. However, they remained open-minded and asked for additional information from the applicant, ultimately approving the school. Again, the hesitation that authorizers might have about a unique model with limited evidence of previous success is understandable. Authorizers want the schools they approve to succeed, and no authorizer wants to see a school close. Multiple authorizers talked about the fear of opening an untested school model that might lead to closure, whether due to academic failure or operational and financial challenges. Many authorizers also described their tenuous political environments and their fear of being perceived as incompetent or irresponsible, as well as the threat of legal challenges, such as a school suing the authorizer after a non-renewal decision. Given how risk aversion can limit more diverse and innovative models from opening, it's critical to find ways to reduce the risks authorizers may perceive. One recommendation is for authorizers to create innovation portfolios. Authorizers do this by designating a portion of authorized schools to focus on dramatically different approaches to teaching and learning, with rigorous yet different expectations for student and school outcomes. Such a designation would need to be public to ensure families and communities understand that a new approach is being tested. Likewise, an authorizer could try pilot programs or other small learning communities as a way to explore innovation on a small scale and then grow when success is evident. This way, an authorizer can create a controlled environment where innovative approaches to education can be tested and tweaked before larger-scale implementation. Pilot programs allow for the exploration of new teaching methods, curriculum designs, and school structures without the risk of widespread failure. By doing this, the authorizer demonstrates a commitment to innovation while still ensuring accountability and oversight. Through these innovation portfolios, authorizers can encourage creativity while maintaining the integrity of the authorizing process. What's more, the insights gained from successful pilots can inform future decision-making and shape educational policy at local and state levels. Accountability systems, including performance frameworks, were cited as a major factor for facilitating or restricting more unique and innovative models. Statewide, disaggregated, comparable assessments of literacy and numeracy are cornerstones of K-12. They are essential to understanding how students, especially lower-income students, students of color, and students with disabilities, are academically progressing. Yet, the way those assessments and other indicators of quality are incorporated into accountability systems is sometimes problematic. At times, this has resulted in artificial barriers that limit the creation of more and different high-quality schools. For example, measurement approaches that are too narrow can contribute to the homogeneity of schooling models and a shrinking pipeline of new school applications by over-encouraging tried-and-true models. Approaches that overemphasize student proficiency create disincentives for schools to educate a wide range of student groups and provide little incentive for innovation in achieving goals. On the other hand, overly broad indicators that lack rigor allow failing schools to continue to undereducate students. There's a particular need for more creative alternative school accountability frameworks. Schools seeking to serve significant populations of at-risk students, for example, students experiencing homelessness, the juvenile justice system, or students with severe or profound disabilities may need different resources and instructional practices. However, few places have actually created systems that are distinct from their state's accountability system. The main advantage of a separate yet rigorous accountability system for alternative charter schools is that it allows authorizers and others to better assess the quality of and the progress made by these schools. It also means that alternative charter schools are less likely to be disincentivized, as they are often in states without differentiated accountability systems. Our recommendation: enhance flexibility in accountability systems and establish alternative frameworks for alternative schools. Where authorizers do not already have the autonomy to do this, the sector needs to advocate for more flexible frameworks tailored to diverse charter school models. Such flexibility would allow authorizers to have a performance framework separate from the state's accountability system, yet still incorporating the state's system and ensuring strong literacy and numeracy outcomes. In addition to this need for more flexibility, NACSA calls for the creation of separate accountability systems tailored to alternative charter schools. We encourage policymakers to develop differentiated accountability measures that incentivize innovation and reflect to the specific challenges faced by alternative charter schools. Red tape and overly bureaucratic regulations were cited as a significant barrier for innovative charter models. The most mentioned regulatory challenges included curriculum and state standards rules. While many states allow charter schools to choose their own curriculum, it is usually required to align with the state's academic standards. Issues can arise when schools do not follow traditional models, such as standard grade level configurations or typical patterns of academic development. For example, some Montessori schools have combined grades or mixed-age classrooms, and there is some evidence of learning acceleration after 2 years in the model. Inflexible rules around curriculum and instructional practices, as well as time needed to meet academic expectations, can significantly inhibit the development of innovative models. Teacher credentialing. Some authorizers talked about teacher licensure to be a regulatory issue facing charter schools generally, but especially for those interested in unique models. For example, when states require certain grade-level teachers to be certified separately than others, it can make finding teachers more difficult but also complicate models that utilize combined classrooms, i.e. combined classrooms with 7th, 8th, and 9th graders might not be able to be taught by the same teacher if that state requires individualized licensure. Student credits and seat time. Multiple authorizers told us that while they believe their communities would benefit from a school with a dropout recovery model, a variety of legal barriers stood in the way. For some, it was an issue of how credits could be earned. In most states, high school course credits are based on the 120-hour Carnegie Unit standard, meaning that students are required to earn 18 to 24 credits via receiving direct instruction from their teacher, also known as seat time, for at least 120 hours per credit to qualify for a diploma. It is not unusual for students returning from having dropped out and students who are at risk of dropping out to be 2 to 3 years behind on credits. So relying on seat time can be detrimental given the challenges these students face. This makes it essential to find other ways for students to catch up on their credits. Many dropout recovery models want more and different opportunities for students to demonstrate their proficiency. Good authorizing ensures increased autonomy in return for accountability. The sector must continue to advocate for reasonable autonomies to be granted to public schools, both charter and non-charter, if we want to see innovations that help students and families thrive. The default in state law should be for charters to have wide flexibilities, including being exempt from most laws not related to accountability or student protections. Policymakers need to be aware of regulatory creep and only add new provisions when truly necessary. Additionally, allowing schools to apply for statutory and regulatory waivers is essential for fostering innovation and flexibility. States will defer in what they believe charters should and should not be required to do, but at a minimum, charter schools should be able to petition for waivers in areas such as seat time, teacher credentialing, and curriculum. Unsurprisingly, many interviewees mention funding as a barrier to more innovative and diverse charter school models. The challenges exist both on the front end and in terms of ongoing sustainability. Many interviewees said there appears to be less funding available for leaders interested in starting non-traditional models. Funders may be more open to supporting proven models and those connected to charter management organizations and are less likely to take a chance on something or someone different. Even when an experienced leader has an idea for something innovative or different, authorizers and partners have seen some of them walk back on those ideas because they are worried about not being able to find funding to launch. And because many innovative models embrace the idea of smallness using learning pods and micro schools, as well as just starting on the smaller side to test aspects of a model, it can also be difficult to determine how to achieve financial solvency. Authorizers take their fiduciary oversight responsibilities seriously. They know that a top reason for charter school closure is financial challenges, which are often tied to insufficient enrollment. This explains why they may be less likely to approve a school if there isn't what they perceive to be adequate funding available. There is a pressing need to provide financial support during the startup phase for leaders, particularly those not affiliated with charter management organizations, who often lack access to funds to sustain themselves while preparing for school launch. Currently, the Federal Charter School Program, or CSP, does not allow funding to be used for the planning phase. We would like to see the law change so that state organizations would be allowed to use a portion of their CSP grants to support the application process and development of new schools. In most cases, tiny charter schools cannot be financially sustainable. That's why more supplemental funds need to be directed to schools within schools and micro schools, as well as incubating programs within existing schools. State laws could support the creation of these programs and schools within schools by allowing high-performing charter schools to establish programs that, if successful, could then spin off into their own schools. Of course, strict rules about the number of students who can participate, as well as the achievement metrics the program must meet, would be needed. Finally, our research found that there is a strong need for supports and resources for school operators, applicants, and authorizers. Aspiring charter school leaders need to understand authorizing and accountability, and to have and be able to explain a clear plan for meeting the challenges associated with certain models. One former authorizer talked about how over the years they had seen many applications from smart leaders with exciting ideas, but it was clear that they did not have enough knowledge of how the public education system worked to be successful. The importance of mentorship and professional development programs were emphasized. We need comprehensive support initiatives. This includes the creation of mentorship programs tailored to aspiring charter school leaders, of innovative charter models, and offering guidance and expertise in navigating the complex authorizing and accountability process. Furthermore, it's essential to establish professional development opportunities focused on building knowledge of the public education system, including legal and regulatory frameworks, funding mechanisms, and governance structures. Charter school support organizations may be in the best position to coordinate such programming, and government and philanthropic funding could potentially be used. Beyond that, specialized training programs should be developed for authorizers to deepen their understanding and evaluation of innovative charter school models. Providing resources and guidance on specific models will equip authorizers to conduct effective site visits and evaluate school performance accurately. Exposure to a variety of models could help. Organizations such as the Inspiration Project and Transcend Education could help provide educators and authorizers alike with the experiences that help them think differently about what schools could be.